Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, coming at you with another StarCraft commentary. And we got an exciting one here today, ladies and gentlemen. We got a PvT featuring none other than Mr. SlayerS BoxeR down here in the bottom of the map. This is Medusa. In the last video I did of BoxeR from the MSL 100, it was terrible quality. And someone in the comments mentioned that he was the emperor of potato quality VODs or something like that. And it's true, we don't usually see BoxeR in higher quality VODs because he wasn't playing very much. You've seen some conversation with BoxeR and iNfeRnaL, by the way, over here on the left-hand side. Yeah, so BoxeR was not really playing much in the era of, you know, better quality VODs, and he definitely hasn't been playing recently, playing StarCraft, except I think he does a little bit on stream, but I think I've only ever seen him play the League of Legends on stream or other stuff like that. He might play, sometimes old pros will play UMSs or something like that on their streams. But in any case, so what I did is I went and I found a replay. Hopefully this replay works. Usually older replays don't work very well. I think this one is from 2009 though, so hopefully it should work. It should be modern enough replay that it should actually work and not just get broken or something like that. So we're in for a bit of a treat here, ladies and gentlemen. So this is BoxeR, is the bottom of the map, Medusa, and I believe this is just a ladder game or something like that. And up here, this is iNfeRnaL. So you guys might not have heard of iNfeRnaL. I had heard of him, but I didn't know much about him, and so I had to look him up a little bit. And basically iNfeRnaL was a very high-level German Protoss player from, you know, around the same time that, you know, the kind of sort of the mid-late Kespa era, basically. I don't think he ever, I could be wrong, I don't think he ever won anything that I'm aware of, but he was a very solid player. You know, he was played in qualifiers for like TSLs and stuff like that. He represented Germany in WCG in, I believe, 2010. Again, I could be wrong about these details, but I'm just basically kind of painting a little bit of a picture that I don't know a lot of details about iNfeRnaL, but I do know that he was a very good German player, and so we're gonna see what he can do against BoxeR here. And you know, normally you would definitely favor the Korean player against a foreigner. You know, even in the StarCraft scene, we always call non-Koreans foreigners because that's what they're called. They're foreigners if you're in Korea. And Korea is kind of all that matters in StarCraft. But in any case, you know, this is a very high-level foreigner. And BoxeR may not be at the top of his game in 2009, so this should be a good matchup. So we'll see how this goes. And we do have BoxeR going ahead and just walling off with a barracks, couple depots, getting his factory up as well. Both players scouting each other a little bit late. We're seeing BoxeR's scout getting out even later, actually, scouting the third. This is a 3-spawn map. And so we're seeing BoxeR scout that second spot, and now he's going to have to go all the way up to the third spot. And you can see this is a map where there's a high ground expansion available. It's mineral only, so both players just kind of opting to go for that. Well, actually, we don't know if BoxeR is going to do that. Oh, is this one of the ones? That's right. There's the high ground expansion behind, and then there's also the low ground expansion in front. Or not low ground, but just same level of ground, I suppose. So we're not sure if BoxeR. Okay, looks like BoxeR is going to go for that expansion. Wouldn't put it past him to be a little bit sneaky and wall off his choke as if he was going to expand and then never actually get the expansion. Probably would have seen a second factor or something by now if he was going to go for something cheeky like that, though. So in the meantime, we do have iNfeRnaL just getting the easy expansion behind, and you know, because you have a better choke point here. This choke point is really hard to hold. It's a much wider choke point. Oh, is he gonna be able to get that SCV? Looks like the SCV is wandered on by this Dragoon. It's gonna be able to get in here. He kind of didn't notice that SCV right at the very beginning, so it's gonna take a little while for him to get pot shots. And actually, the SCV is gonna notice mineral-laden probes coming down from the high ground. So even though he can't actually get the SCV up to the high ground to actually scout that Nexus itself, he kind of gave it away a little bit. iNfeRnaL kind of gave it away a little bit by having those probes come down the ramp at the exact moment. Although, you know what? Maybe it could be a fake out, like the game we watched between Casey and Jelizerg on our watch party, our StarCraft watch party live on Twitch and YouTube. Maybe it'll be like that, where Casey actually mined the minerals from the expansion, so Jelizerg could see the SCVs there and think it was an expansion build, and it wasn't, and he went for a rush. So, You know, you never know with BoxeR. He's a mind game player for sure. Don't know if he would put in that much effort into mind games on a ladder game or wherever this is from, but in any case, it's something you always have to watch out for with BoxeR. Getting his academy going, by the way, just so you could make sure and have some scans, just in case there was a Dark Templar rush. He did get a scout in here, and he saw all this stuff. He saw the probes coming down from bottom, so he's probably not expecting Dark Templar, but in any case, iNfeRnaL pushing out here with some Dragoons. They are range upgraded. They're a little bit later than you would hope for to be able to harass the front here. The tanks are already in place, and I'm not even actually sure if this is a little bit late timing by iNfeRnaL, or if it's just the fact that he got that expansion up, and so it was kind of delayed in that sense. iNfeRnaL go ahead and get on that third base, which was what I kind of expected. If you get this back one, you know, you're going to want to get this third one as well. So responding to BoxeR getting a single expansion with a double expansion is a pretty good move. And BoxeR is just now getting a second factory and a starport. You know, you just gotta, with a couple siege tanks and a nice wall, it's just, you can make so much out of so little. And the tanks are so little, but they can do so much defense against any kind of push here. Again, him knowing that, unless iNfeRnaL was a master of mind games, that he was expanding as well. So I guess he could have, maybe he saw the SCV coming in here to scout here with his scouting probe or something like that. I don't know if he did or not, but that would have been some epic mind games. Anyway, no mind games going on in this game, just straight up both players playing a little bit defensive, reading their opponent's build, and getting out into the mid game very quickly here. BoxeR pushing out with a few vultures, which are mines upgraded. The speed is almost upgraded for them as well. Wants to get out there, but this little line of Dragoons, you can see there's no real spot. There's very, very little area for them the vultures to sneak by. So he's going to actually just kind of come back here. Curious to see if BoxeR is going to maybe push out with additional tanks and then try to clear this out and maybe force a spot for his vultures to go out, or if he's going to, and just as I thought of it, I looked over and he's doing it, make a dropship instead with which to get his vultures out. And he's actually going in and taking that back expansion as well. This is cute. He's mined up the entire ridge around here. This is the one with the stacked temples, by the way, so it's really hard to get through that to get into the back of your opponent's base unless you have splash damage units, or unless you can sneak the units through with a mining trick or something like that. That's why there's the minerals right there next to it, so you can try and sneak stuff through, especially players will often sneak their probes through. Here's the dropship coming out, and it's going to be coming right into the back base of iNfeRnaL. It's going to be dropping out a couple vultures in the back, couple in the main. The probes are running, but the Dragoons are already in excellent position. BoxeR having to micro dropships and vultures in different locations. Oh, very, very dangerous of iNfeRnaL to be dumb. Oh man, he almost blew up so many probes with a mine there, but the Dragoons picked off the probe. So that was very, very dangerous situation. Is he going to be able to get this dropship? It looks like the dropship's going to juke around those Dragoons and not be killed off. So he's going to save the dropship at least. But 4 vultures getting killed off. I don't know if he got a single probe kill, maybe a couple, but not as much damage as he would have liked for sure. I would say not even worth damage, but at least he does a little bit of a distraction. He keeps iNfeRnaL kind of back in his base. And look, that dropship was saved, and that's crucial because now he was actually, is he producing additional dropships? No, he's not. But by saving that dropship, oh no, never mind, it's not gonna get saved. It's gonna fill up with vultures and then run right into some more Dragoons. And that dropship is now toast. So now he's lost a dropship and 6 or 7 vultures. I think 7 vultures, maybe 8. Several vultures. For what? He hasn't gained anything at all, unfortunately. So in the meantime, iNfeRnaL getting a 4th base up and running. He's like, all right, you know what? You've been poking around with vultures. You do not have enough vultures right now to protect your tanks. You cannot push. I'm going to take a 4th, buddy. Let's do it. And the probe gets taken out trying to, you know, cannon up that 4th or what have you, but it's still going to be cleared out by these Dragoons. He's doing a good job of going with these Dragoons out on the map, taking a nice spot. The observers right here as well to make sure that nothing's sneaking by on the side here. Looks like there is a tiny spot where another dropship could sneak by, but BoxeR is not going to go for that. He's just macroing up at this point, getting depots down, getting factories down so he can start to produce tons of units. What is he producing now? He is producing additional dropships, actually. Science facility as well. Could be for a science vessel. He might be prepping to try and get some EMPs out in case there's arbors on the map. Let's see what tech iNfeRnaL is going for here. It looks like he's got Citadel, and there's the Templar Archives. Don't see a Stargate yet, though, so it doesn't look like we're necessarily going to see arbors. We might just see sheer ground play. Okay, there's the Stargate, JK. He puts the Stargate down right off the Templar Archive, so he is probably going to be going for arbor tech. A little bit of skirmishing going on here in the middle of the map, but iNfeRnaL is doing a really good job of hold that thought, because we do have this dropship in the back of his base, sieging up with the tank behind the mineral line, and he's actually going to target the Dragoon instead of the probes, but the Dragoon does go down, so now he's got free shots on the probes. iNfeRnaL kind of pulling the probes out of range of that siege tank so they cannot die to the siege tank. But in the meantime, he's mined up this top area so the Dragoons can't get up to kill the tank, and oh, these mines are going to go right on top of the tank. Oh, nice! He actually killed off all 3 Dragoons with that mine. I don't think he expected it to be there. Excellent job of BoxeR. Is he going to be able to save this tank? The probes are actually going to go in there, and he's going to kill it off. Everything kills itself. Everything dies, but the probes mostly are saved in this point. There's a little bit, again, going back to these skirmishes over on the side here. iNfeRnaL does have an observer here. It's not pinned to the Dragoons, so it's not quite... Okay, now he's actually going to move that observer out. Is he scouting for a 4th base? It might be what he's doing. Nope, he's just kind of chilling it over the mines there. In any case, BoxeR now going in with 2 dropships worth. He actually sent the vultures out as a scouting advance party to put mines down to block any attempt to stop this drop. Kind of interesting, moving in the tanks via dropships, but what that means is that when Dragoons come in here and start cleaning out these mines, he could actually lift these tanks up, get them back up in the dropships, and go for a different base. And he's actually shelling the Nexus with the tanks while he takes out free probe kills with the vultures at the same time. And BoxeR, in the meantime, by the way, is just happily macroing up, getting his 4th bait going. What kind of upgrades does he have right now? He's got +1 weapons going on. The Dragoons do sweep in here. Sorry, I missed the exact moment when they finally swept in there and got those tanks. He didn't actually lift them up in the dropships after all. He was just able to salvage 1 dropship without getting anything out. And he does, iNfeRnaL does clear out all those tanks, but not before the Nexus goes down. So currently, iNfeRnaL reduced to 3 bases. They're all mining very heavily, though. Plenty of probes all over the place, but BoxeR's about to get a 4th base up. And look at this nice group of vultures scattered on the map, but iNfeRnaL's on top of it. He catches them with these Dragoons. He's going to force them kind of to funnel back towards the middle of the base. So many mines being put in the middle of the map, but iNfeRnaL's just doing a really good job of, again, keeping observers out all over the place on the map to make sure he's kind of seeing what's going on, scouting pylons to look for dropships and what have you as well. So iNfeRnaL is, he lost this Nexus up here, but other than that, he has not suffered almost any losses from this shenanigans that that BoxeR's been up to this entire game. He's been clearing out the mines, he's been blocking the vultures, he's been blocking the drops as well. So iNfeRnaL just doing an excellent job here of just kind of keeping track of that. But here is the push. BoxeR's been doing all of this harassment as a form of keeping iNfeRnaL off guard, and iNfeRnaL does take out that 4th base, by the way. In the bottom right here while this is happening, but this is the main event right here. BoxeR pushing out with a huge army. He's gonna go for, it looks like a kind of a slow push. I don't think he's gonna, actually it's hard to tell if he's gonna try and use this to try and push and take the middle and defend another attempt at a bottom right expansion, but I think this is just an attempt to macro directly into a push towards iNfeRnaL's bases, essentially. iNfeRnaL is now producing Arbiters. Does he have any upgrades for the Arbiters? I don't see any going on right now. So BoxeR is just kind of pushing out, controlling the middle of the map. He's got Vultures in the front in case of a frontal attack. He was keeping some in the back as a reserve force, kind of a very, I guess, reminds me of what I've learned of, maybe I've just, I mean, it's probably a popular tactic anyway. Maybe I should say the tactic before I start expositing on it, but, you know, keeping a reserve force in the back so that you can not, you can pick where to send your reserve forces, right? And so, you know, if you read a lot about sort of a lot of ancient or, you know, historic generals, they will often do that, especially in, you know, the gun days. There was you'd keep, you know, some forces in the back. Anyway, I'm now just rambling a little bit too much about this. Point being, though, BoxeR was keeping these vultures in the back so that if anything came from the side, he could send them in there. If there were Templar, he needed to come in and snipe on the side or something like that. And actually, BoxeR a little bit out of position. Dragoon's coming in from the side of his tanks. He needs to bring his vultures back to defend those tanks a little bit. The vultures going to work on these zealots and actually baiting the zealots into a ton of mines as he draws the vultures back. And just as the dragoons get in close enough to start picking off tanks, the vultures from the front were able to get down in amongst them and then juke over to the right to defend. Very, very nicely done by BoxeR. I was a little bit worried that his right flank was exposed, but he was able to bring his forces back down and just bait so many units into this giant minefield. The mines took out most of the zealots, so he didn't actually have to use many vultures to deal with it. Macro situation looking pretty good for BoxeR. He's up about a 30 supply right now, but do not count iNfeRnaL out just yet. He's pumping out of tons and tons of gateways. The Arbiters are going to be coming to bear pretty soon as well. Yes, there's the Arbiters right now. He's trying to sneak some vultures by to deal with this. Again, the same exact thing. Running the vultures in to plant mines in the way of these tanks that are now getting to position to siege the expansion. I don't think this is going to accomplish too much, though. A couple zealots running in, soaking up all the mines. Very nicely done. And he does have an observer, I guess, overhead. I don't see it. Maybe he didn't have an observer. Anyway, he's going to be able to clean that up fairly easily. So no major harm done. And what BoxeR was also doing by taking this location is protecting this bridge from a land attack on this left side expansion. Instead of opting to go for down here again, going for the left side expansion is very smart. iNfeRnaL trying to take the rest of the map, though. Look at this. He's got a nexus over here. He's putting a little pylon gateway wall in front of some cannons to make sure that vultures can't do too much damage here. Unfortunately, the vultures can attack that wall without being within range of the cannons, but come on. There you go. So they're going to be able to come down here. These mines are going to slow him down a little bit, but it looks like he's probably going to be able to get in here and actually trap these vultures. The vultures have gone in to directly attack the cannons, and now they're going for the nexus. These vultures are going to die, but are they going to get the nexus first? It looks like they are, because these mines have slowed down these dragoons long enough that they're going to get enough shots off. Vultures now at +2 weapons are doing significant damage to the nexus. It is going to kill off the nexus, and boom goes the nexus dynamite, I guess. In any case, so another nexus taken out. Can iNfeRnaL keep up with this? This base is now very well defended. Plenty of pylons and cannons, what have you, going on over here. Obviously, the pylons aren't defenses, but I was thinking if this was the only pylon for all these cannons, it might be vulnerable. But in any case, so BoxeR, again, taking out that base. BoxeR running these vultures up into the high ground now just to kind of get them out of the way. And if he puts on a scan, he can at least put up a fight. But it looks like he's just kind of delaying this force. Again, forcing him to track down this force on the side gives BoxeR time to macro up even more units in the middle here. Those vultures are going to die, but in the meantime, it's going to take a while for these dragoons to get all the way back around the map. Very smart play by BoxeR to use that defense. Oh, he's actually going to come in here and attack this base again with more vultures. The dragoons coming now from the north instead of the west are going to again be able to engage against those vultures, but the vultures might kill off the nexus first, and he does get it. He might have gotten a cancel. I couldn't tell actually in that situation. But very nicely done by BoxeR, keeping iNfeRnaL off balance. But again, iNfeRnaL doing an excellent job of really responding well to these vultures and not letting them just run away with the game with this vulture play, basically. Now both of them are maxed out. So let's look at the army compositions here. We've got quite a few tanks. Let's see, we've probably got about 24 tanks here. Where are all the support units? Where are all the vultures? Are they just running off here? It's hard to see where they are right now. Look at this turret. He really doesn't want to get recalled, does he? Look at this amazing turret line over on the side of his base. So BoxeR is really kind of banking on using this bottom left corner of the map as his, not trying to go right, and instead using the fact that defending this base is also pushing towards iNfeRnaL's base. He's doing a lot of harassment on the sides on trying to track down these side expansions here with vultures and what have you. But in the meantime, it looks like his main idea of his main thrust is to push straight up into the natural expansion of iNfeRnaL. And now here he is pushing out. He's got a couple dozen tanks. He's got a lot of vultures. He's actually got a bunch of SCVs idle over here. He might want to sack some SCVs in order to make room for some more army at this point. or I guess he could try to go for another expansion somewhere. Might be a good idea as well. But either way, BoxeR moving on the map. He does a couple dozen tanks, but not too many vultures here. This could be the deciding battle right here, ladies and gentlemen. If one or the other loses their entire army without significant gains, then it will be all over right now. But he's going a nice storm on the vultures here. A good stasis on the front tanks as well, but more reinforcing tanks are coming in from the back. He's actually got them unsieged, and oh no, he sieges up in a nice big clump. It's going to force him back. iNfeRnaL doesn't have the AoE left to make use of the fact that this clump is just, oh, my mouth is watering. This is such a juicy target for a storm or a stasis. It would be a really, really epic place to put some kind of a spell right there, but he's backing off instead, re-macroing up a little bit. BoxeR behind in supply now is not necessarily the place he wants to be. Again, BoxeR can kind of afford to just hold this spot, hold this area. And what was that EMP? Maybe this I actually don't say, maybe the Arbiter was here a minute ago and he just pulled it back after BoxeR targeted the EMP or something like that, and he went to do something else. In any case, BoxeR just kind of continuing to macro up here. He's got a lot of money in the bank, or a decent amount of money in the bank, I should say. So one more round of factory units should be enough to get him back up to max again. I'm surprised a little bit that we don't see iNfeRnaL doing more in this situation to try and push in on this situation. BoxeR does not quite actually have much to defend his tanks right now. He's only got a handful of vultures right now because he's a little bit behind on supply. Again, there's a bunch of vultures being produced, and maybe they just popped out. Where were they? Okay, no more tanks are being produced actually, as well as yeah, mostly tanks being produced here. But I guess, you know, if you've got a bunch of gas and minerals in the bank, go ahead and produce tanks instead of vultures. Oh, I didn't even see over here. BoxeR sneaking a tank up here with a dropship. Look at this cheeky thing here. He's got one tank over here and one tank over here, two tanks, one dropship, and immediately major threat to two expansions. But hold that thought, we have another major attack going on here on the side. Decent storm, actually only catching one tank there. The Zealot's going in the front. That's a good storm on a few tanks there. And it looks like iNfeRnaL might push through and actually break the tank line. No, he's gonna fall back again. Just when his Zealots run out, he's forced to fall back here. And I think that's a smart move. If he pushed in any farther, and look there, he's gonna EMP the Arbiter that's right on top of his tanks. But does he have any Goliaths or anything like that? I thought I saw a Goliath earlier, but he has not been making Goliaths. He probably needs to get a couple of those just to have something to deal with these Arbiters, although he may have actually lost the Goliaths in that previous battle. So now BoxeR, I think, is feeling a little bit vulnerable, and we can see he's actually, look, there we go. There's the Goliath coming in here. Come on, no, oh, come on, the tanks. Go, save it right there. It's almost there. In any case, it looks like this did get cleared up. These tanks on the side got cleared up by some Dark Templars. Nicely done. So BoxeR, again, now that he's kind of said, all right, well, I've gone for a couple sort of pushes in the middle here. He's gotten my supply low enough a couple times. Interesting storm. Oh, he actually... Nice. Oh, he saves the Observer too because he stormed the Science Vessel. So the Science Vessel lost vision of the Observer and the Goliaths couldn't finish it off. That's actually kind of clever. Anyways, so BoxeR now posturing in the middle to try and take the bottom middle expansion as well. I mean, he's taken it already, obviously, but to secure it, I should say. This Archon, just kind of wandering into tank fire there. He's got a nice wide tiered field of tanks, but there's not a lot to defend them. He needs mines and vultures in the way. Otherwise, the next time iNfeRnaL gets maxed out and charges in there, he will break it. And here are some vultures coming in here. He probably needs some mines up here. It looks like iNfeRnaL's going for this side base now. Now that BoxeR shifted to the bottom middle, we see iNfeRnaL shifting to try and attack the left middle, or middle left, I should say, I guess. And BoxeR putting some tanks in a nice spot across from that bridge is going to be able to defend it. But you know what? It's just not going to be enough. He's going to actually stasis those units and be able to bring some Dragoons in here. I like how he's got these Observers right at the edge of the turret range so they can see those mines, so these Dragoons can pick off the turrets, so the Arbiters can get in closer. BoxeR sieging up more tanks in this position to try and hold this bridge. And I feel like maybe a recall in this spot would be good, or maybe moving these Dragoons up here, but instead he's actually losing several units just wandering into tank fire. This could be the moment where things fall apart for iNfeRnaL. He's been playing things extremely well this whole game, but losing several units here I'm not sure what the purpose. I mean, maybe he just didn't realize that the back tank line was there in such a great position. But iNfeRnaL losing a lot there, and now you know, he's been keeping up in general, but now he's down to 40 supply behind BoxeR at this point. He does have 1, 2, 3 bases mining though, so he's got enough money coming in that he can produce a decent amount of units very quickly. BoxeR in the meantime only has 2 bases mining at this point, so sort of a early mid-game economy situation right now that they've mined out all of their expansions basically. Dark Templar's running out to die to mines. Actually, Dark Templar being able to target down a tank right there as well. And again, harassment going on over here on the left side, but BoxeR re-putting down. Actually, did I miss out on a recall or something over here? I might have missed that. I apologize if I did. These Dark Templars just not finding too much. It looks like there was a couple kills on these DTs, but now there's a vessel in play. Roaming around looking for these DTs is not going to be a big deal. Of course, the mines are doing a good job as well. But yeah, something happened over here. Several turrets dying, but this base still intact, and more units lost for iNfeRnaL, who's remacroed up to only 20 supply behind at this point. And the thing is like it's really hard for him to recall. Obviously, BoxeR has this epic turret line set up on the side here, but he's doing a good job of putting down mines around these bases. This base is a little bit vulnerable to a recall though, but it'd be hard to get over there. Actually, BoxeR just moving on with a little bit of units to oh, it looks like he dropped more tanks in here. I keep missing these. BoxeR's all over the place. Looks like he's going to take out that tank before he can take out the Nexus though. Handful of hit points, 100 hit points left on that base. Oh, Vultures running in. Nice storms on top of the Vultures, but now the Vultures are going to be able to get all the way inside here. DTs going after the Vultures have been spotted by a comm scan, and it looks like he's just trying to target down the Nexus, I think. Actually, he's going after the probes, which is even a better move at this point, but he's going to get both of them eventually. So iNfeRnaL has to respond to this somehow. He doesn't seem to be doing anything to try and respond to this situation. But what can he do? There's a lot of tanks in the way. Again, I guess he's just trying to wait for maxed out or something like that. It looks like his army is a little bit small for this situation, but BoxeR is spread very, very thin right here. BoxeR knows that iNfeRnaL's coming in from the north up here, so he's going to have to try and redirect these forces in here. He's got more tanks coming in. Is he going to siege up those tanks? He's actually going to leave them unsieged right now while the Zealots are there. Probably once the Zealots are gone, he'll be able to siege up. A nice storm on the Goliaths, catching some damage on the vessels as well, making sure that he's going to have to scan in order to see those units. Actually, there's a lot of turrets, so he might not need to scan. And again, once he's cleared out a path, he knows that killing off these tanks and losing a bunch of stuff doesn't accomplish anything, but killing off this base will accomplish a lot in this situation. He needs to trade and kill off that base as well, especially given the fact that he's lost his own 2 bases on the right side of the map, so he needs to kill off BoxeR's expansions as well. He does force it to lift, force the SCVs to retreat, but he doesn't actually destroy it, so BoxeR could theoretically retake that position and try and do something about that. But, you know, a nice tit for tat, but unfortunately there was more tit than tat. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way, because now iNfeRnaL is not mining at all. iNfeRnaL has 0. Okay, I'm sorry, except for this base. Sorry, he lost 2 bases, but he still has this third up. But it's close to not mining all, because you can see there's only 250, 400 minerals on the biggest patch there. He's going to run out of some of these patches very soon. And not be mining very well at all. BoxeR is still only mining at this base, and he's actually mined out most of the patches there, though. But here is the key. This bottom right area is the key right now. BoxeR taking the middle right expansion right now, while this base is blocked from being retaken. Not sure what that vessel was doing exactly. But in any case, BoxeR now closing on this force. I believe this force is dead. Can they accomplish enough right now to at least make their deaths worthwhile? Looks like he is going to take out a few tanks, actually. BoxeR might want to move these Vultures down to the bottom at this point. But iNfeRnaL is just falling far behind, and I'm not exactly sure why the situation has emerged, but iNfeRnaL just hasn't had the economy, despite the fact that he had a lot of bases for a while. His money intake has not been enough to keep up the losses that he's had, and you can see now the supply difference has grown from a little bit of a gap to a ravine, perhaps. And if iNfeRnaL doesn't do something soon, it's going to become a chasm, and that chasm will not be something he'll be able to transverse and he's going to be losing here pretty soon. BoxeR now going over, transferring SCVs over to the side expansion as well, harassing this side base, which the Nexus got rebuilt, but if there's no way for him to defend it, BoxeR has control of this area, and I believe iNfeRnaL just doesn't quite have the forces to break through this. Again, BoxeR is spread thin though, so if iNfeRnaL can somehow theoretically attack BoxeR with all of his forces somewhere where BoxeR is weak, perhaps, he might be able to accomplish something. You know, again, that's what recalls are for, but I don't know how he's going to expect to really accomplish that. And look, as BoxeR's actually sending a bunch of SCVs over here. He's got a lot of SCVs. He's got like 3 dozen SCVs just to that base, and it's because that's the only base he's mining at right now, so he might as well have more SCVs there, I guess. But I feel like it's also a little bit of a danger, because it means a storm drop could kick out 30 SCVs instead of, you know, 15. Oh, didn't quite get to land that EMP. This Arbiter doesn't quite have enough for a stasis at this point, but in any case, iNfeRnaL really needs to pull off something right now. I believe like a recall or a storm drop in this spot would be something that could secure him a path back into this game. Definitely not get him back into the game, but secure him a path at least. We haven't seen storm drops all game, by the way, but again, BoxeR has just been so bullish on the turrets in response to the Arbiters that it hasn't really been a good opportunity. And now BoxeR again, he's going to kill this Nexus for like the 4th time, I think. I believe BoxeR is sniped something. Oh, and hold that thought. This is the last stand for iNfeRnaL. He's coming in here. Arbiters in play. Nice stasis on a lot of the Vultures. Is it going to clear enough of a path for him to get these units in? Some storms going on. Nice storm catching a lot of the Vultures in that tank in the back. Does he have the forces, though, to actually finish anything off? No, a defense matrix is going to block the storm on that tank, and he's going to force iNfeRnaL back. And there's the chasm we were talking about, ladies and gentlemen. 100 supply difference. This was the last stand of iNfeRnaL. Not even last stand, I guess. A stand is when you try and stand to defend, but it was the last attempt at breaking BoxeR's hold on the map, and it didn't quite work. It was a beautiful stasis on these Vultures here to remove the defenses of the tanks, but he just didn't have enough to follow up with. If he just had 20 more supply, I believe he could have broken through there and tried to do some damage to BoxeR's economy. BoxeR knows it, though. He says, I've got the advantage here. I'm going to move out with all my units, and there's the GG coming from iNfeRnaL. Well freaking played by iNfeRnaL, but he was not mining at all at this point. Completely mined out of this base. This base got killed off again, and BoxeR still had mining over here, and more importantly, he just had kind of control of the map. You know, at this point, look, he's got 50 supply, and that's all in idle probes, basically. So iNfeRnaL taps out after a long game, half an hour plus game. Very, very well fought. I gotta hand it to, you know, I didn't know much about iNfeRnaL, but just kind of looking up his records and stuff like that, I was able to kind of see, like, okay, well, you know, he was a middle of the road foreigner as far as well, middle of the road as far as the highest tier I should go, I guess. You know, he didn't go around winning TSLs or anything like that, but he was a really decent player. But he is really, you know, he proved to me that he was, I was underestimating him. This was an extremely good performance by iNfeRnaL. Gotta hand it to him. Very nicely done. Really just handling the harassment with the Vultures and the dropships as well as any Korean pro. You know, I've seen Fantasy or Flash lose more to like that, you know, the 4 Vulture drop where he dropped 2 Vultures here and two Vultures here, and iNfeRnaL just dealt with all of it. Even with the mines and everything like that, he had the Dragoons in the perfect spot. He microed really well. Didn't lose almost any probes at all of that. You know, that's something that I've seen Korean pro gamers lose advantage and then lose the game to in the mid game as a result. And iNfeRnaL was able to deal with that very, very well. In the late game, obviously, he was not able to quite deal with all of these drops in different locations all over the map. But that's partly because BoxeR just had control of the middle of the map really well. From advantages that he pressed earlier on, and just being invulnerable to harassment, to counter harassment by putting up turrets every freaking where on the map, mines in his expansions and everything as well. So very, very well done by iNfeRnaL. Couldn't quite pull it off in the end, and just sort of in the mid game there was a point where just started slipping away from him, and you know, he just BoxeR was playing too safely to let iNfeRnaL get back into the game. So extremely well done, though. What a great game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching some BoxeR games with some pixels. Thank you to those of you, by the way, who commented on the BoxeR game with like, that must have been a 240p VOD or something. It was just a terrible quality. And, but I hope, glad that you guys enjoyed it regardless. Anyway, thanks for watching. GG.